Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Stern coming at you with the second in the pair of MREs that were most recently given to me by my iOS sister, Aletha, who has her own channel. She usually comes to the Ration Museum streams, but because she's been doing family stuff. And speaking of Aletha, there she is. So this 2012 Menu 12, packed by AmeriQual. And there is Pete. Thanks for dropping in. These have the peelable seal. And AmeriQual puts their date codes on their bags. Might not show up that well, but of course this thing doesn't really like to focus. And then I used this when I did that chicken with feta. This is a Swedish. It looks like a kuksa, and it's got a hole so that can be hung on a pack or so you hang it off a belt or something. But it's a plastic type material, and it's almost a match for this tray. But since these were both gifts, and you know, December is when people like to give gifts, I thought, you know, I'll go ahead and pull this cup out. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this bag. There we go. I literally had to shove my finger down the hole. And as with almost all AmeriQual packed MREs, you have this inner wrapper inside of the bag. Of course, this will serve as my trash bag. And as I said before, the one other time that I got an AmeriQual packed MRE that I ordered from foreignmre.com, this inner wrapper literally saved the contents of that ration because it protected it from postal damage. The outer bag was damaged, but the interior was not because of this inner wrapper. So I'm so happy that that particular one was an AmeriQual packed MRE and not a Warnick or a Sapaco. And this one was not extremely tight, so the box did not get squashed. So this is a vegetarian. It's a penne pasta with vegetable crumbles, meaning it's a soy protein type stuff in a spicy tomato sauce. And these boxes back then had all this other stuff on the inside, or on the other side. There is James Ortiz in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Fruit punch. I really tall bag for just a little bit of powder. Theoretically, you could mix it in this bag, but because it does not have a zip seal like the shaker bags that are used now, you'd have a mess if you didn't get it closed tight enough, but I'll be mixing it in my drinking jar. We got Accessory Pack. This is Accessory Pack A. I'll just set that on top of the cup. It says wheat snack bread. This is before they put the TFF, which means trans fat free. Got peanut butter. Vanilla pudding dessert powder. Oh, this is an unexpected find. So I am going to have to get some more water, or I'll just swap bottles. Because I got this bottle here, which I can put a little over 9 ounces of water in when I fill it all the way to the top. So you put 4 ounces of water in here. There's no zip seal, so you really have to be careful with it, and you shake the crap out of it. So that's a pudding powder. So first time I will have seen that. Toaster pastry chocolate chip. A chocolate chip Pop-Tart, basically. And it feels like there's only one in there. Got a little packet of hot sauce. Just in case the pasta isn't spicy enough. Got a spoon. Flameless ration heater, which I won't be using because considering it is a bit older, and because I'm at home, I would rather just boil the entree anyway. And then the beverage bag, which I won't use, but I do hold on to these because these are used for so many things, and this particular one happens to have measurement markers on here, which is nice. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up the accessory pack. Got the rear roll. Got a packet of salt. A couple of pieces of peppermint gum. The wet wipe. A packet of sugar. Type 3 coffee. A book of matches. So this is the brown book of matches and not the old green like what used to be in earlier MREs. And a packet of creamer, which sounds pretty good. It sounds like it's not going to have any issues. then I'm going to have a little fun with this particular menu. I have a packet, a retort pouch of just chicken chunks, plain cooked chicken chunks. So I'm going to turn this meatless main into a more satisfying meal. By adding it to this pasta. So since I'm going to need some more water for this pudding, I'm just going to go ahead and swap out this bottle for a bigger one so I can have enough water to do the pudding. And there is Dub C in the house. There is History Savior in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So I'll be right back. That little bit of powder right there calls for 12 ounces of water, so that pretty much fills the drinking jar. So now that I have the drinking powder in the mug, I'm going to go ahead and open up this pudding pouch. Which didn't quite rip all the way across, but that's okay. This is what the powder looks like in the bag. It says shake for a full minute. I'm also kind of doing this and I like to mix these types of powders first because some of them tend not to dissolve very fast. Yeah, it's a drinking jar. As you can see, it has a handle, and it has this. It basically looks like a canning jar with a handle, but of course you cannot actually use it for canning. I'll just put that back there. But the last one that I had was one that my mom gave me years ago, but I was doing hot drinks in it, and I did one too many, and it busted. So I bought a vintage one on eBay. Well, sort of. You know, it was not a current production. It's not the same brand as the one that my mom gave me. But I'm not going to tell her that I broke that one. This says to stir it after shaking it, but I'm just going to, I've been kneading it and kind of squeezing it like this. So I'm just going to leave that off to the side. And I'm going to leave the clip on it. Now I'm going to open up this Type 3. Would be nice if it was Type 2 or... But it's coffee. Creamer looks perfectly fine. I'm just adding the sugar to the cup. So there is a coffee creamer and sugar in that that Swedish cup. Now I'm going to go ahead and take these and put them in the pot on the stove. And I'll be right back. I just took the kettle back to the kitchen after pouring my coffee water. Yeah, I would definitely hit up any surplus stores in your area. I have never gone to one here because I wasn't sure if Des Moines even had one. But now that I know we do, I would like to go find it. I just have to figure out how far it is from a bus stop. Oh, so Hister Saver, you like these Swedish cups? It is pretty cool. There is Jay in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Bummer, that's a crapper, Pete. I just grabbed another snack bread to show the difference in the labeling. It says TFF. That stands for trans fat free. This is from 2017. But see, the 2012 one, it's still sterling. It just says wheat snack bread. And even the color of the pouch is slightly different. This one has a bit more of a gray, where this one is more of a tan. I don't know how well you can see that, but I can definitely see the difference between the 2000, I have it upside down, 2017 and 2012. So this is before they started putting the trans fat free labeling on here. It has trans fat on here, so it says, so if you look at the nutrition info, it says trans fat on here. It just didn't say trans fat free. Of course, they changed the recipe so it is trans fat free. So just thought I'd show you that difference. Now I'll go ahead and open this. This is what it looks like. This one actually looks a bit thicker. actually going to put that over here. Now I'm going to open up the Pop-Tart. I'm curious if this double wrapped. Oh no, it's not. It's not double wrapped. I think this one might fall apart on me, so I'm just going to go ahead and, yep, it's going to. No oxygen absorber in there. There's just a little bit of a swirl of a chocolate icing on there, but you can see the chocolate. But it only appears to, it doesn't show up on the bottom side, more so on the top side. But that's the first time I've seen a chocolate chip Pop-Tart in an MRE. So I thought that was pretty different. Now I'm opening up the pudding. And I'm going to squeeze it over here. In fact, I'll this is coming out pretty thick, even though I probably put more than 4 ounces of water in here. I folded the bag over. Oops, sorry about that. It definitely looks like a vanilla pudding. And I can definitely smell it. It's just not coming out very smooth, but oh well. It's a few years old, so I'm just going to call that good. So at least I got it out. So that's what the pudding looks like. I'm just going to go ahead and give the drink another stir just to make sure that it's mixed up. And it seems to have fully dissolved by now. It wasn't like there's a whole lot of powder in that bag. Not as much as in some other drink powders that only call for 8 ounces of water. I got my peanut butter here. I'm kneading up the peanut butter. I'm just going to put a little bit of it here. Because I will sample the bread by itself before I take a bite of it with the peanut butter on there. There is CR. Thanks for dropping in. I didn't... puppy breath is in the house. I didn't see it come in, but others were greeting you, so I'm glad you dropped in. So I got the peanut butter here on the bread. So I got this hot sauce on standby in case it's needed. But I'm going to go ahead and go get the pouches out of the pot, and I'll be right back. I am back. I got a paper towel so I can wipe them off. I have the chicken first, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it first. This has a tear notch that goes across the short side, not the long side, and it actually has two, but I'll pull the top one. And this one's both of these have these tear notches that go across the end of the pouch instead of going the length of it. That one ripped a whole lot better. I'm going to call that one good. I'll just get that thing out of the way. There, I got everything opened. And there's enough of this on top that I can sample this pasta in the sauce without the chicken. Just checking the chat. There's Marilyn Skull in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So, in a few days, I'm going to be dropping a butter cake order. Now, that was just the sauce and that TVP by itself, not any of the pasta. It's penne pasta, so this is what it looks like. It is very, very soft pasta. It does have a bit of a kick. There's some spice to it. And it already tastes like it has something like this in it. This has vinegar, red pepper, salt, and xanthan gum. I think they tried to use that as a thickener. But this pasta is extremely soft. Now here is the chicken by itself. So now I have the chicken with the sauce. I think the saltiness of the chicken will definitely cut through some of the vinegar that I'm getting from the pasta sauce. So I'm actually going to mix this. I'm going to mix the chicken into this sauce. And of course the juices from the chicken will kind of thin out the sauce a little bit. Now that actually tastes pretty good. When I got that pouch of the chicken chunks, I think that one came out of a mystery box. I knew I wanted to do that with this particular menu. I thought that would be pretty cool. I'm going to take a sip of this. Yeah, just like the fruit punch Kool-Aid. I'm just going to break off a little piece of the bread. Believe it or not, it actually doesn't taste too bad for wheat snack bread. It tastes old. But it's not it's not really messed up. I'm going to go for a bite with the peanut butter on it. That peanut butter is still pretty good. I'm going for a sip of the coffee. Yep, typical type 3 coffee. I like it. Yeah, it's a 2012 wheat snack bread. This is before they started actually labeling it as trans fat free, because it's not trans fat free. This is before the nutritional requirements were changed, where any baked item like the bread or a cookie or a cake has to be trans fat free. Now this chicken mixed pretty well with this pasta. The red bits are bits of tomato or red bell pepper, or both. Of course, it would be better if the pasta wasn't so mushy, but it'll still be nice to eat this. Oh, those caffeinated mints. I have a couple of packs of those, but I have actually never tried them. I have chosen to actually sit on those. And save them for when I have to use them in an emergency situation where I need caffeine, but I can't have this. Either because I would not be able to have time to make some coffee, even if I just threw some instant coffee in a bottle and shook it and not even bothered to heat it. That's something that Canadian trucker has done. Just thrown his coffee into his water bottle and shook it and drank it that way without even bothering to heat the water. And I've seen that done in some camping videos of another channel I watch, where he will just throw a packet or two of instant coffee in a water bottle, shake it, There is hidden numismatist in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Show you what I've done. I've taken this 2012 Menu 12 spicy penne pasta vegetarian and a pouch of just plain cooked chicken chunks and put them together. And the salt from the chicken balances out the vinegary flavor that I'm getting from the sauce and the pasta. It's a penne pasta. It's very soft, but still perfectly edible. There's prep for it in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Then I have the wheat snack bread with peanut butter. This is a chocolate chip Pop-Tart. And this was a powdered pudding mix. It's a vanilla pudding mix. This drink is the fruit punch. Which actually mixed up pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and give this, this pudding is very, very, it's not smooth. It's almost like whipped marshmallow texture. It's that it's that thick, even with the amount of water that I put in. But it still tastes fine. It just sticks to the spork. It just sticks to the spoon. But other than the weird consistency of it, it's still perfectly fine, perfectly edible. Well, I suppose, well, since the Pop-Tart does have chocolate chips in it, this is going to break apart very easily. I just broke a corner off. You can see the chocolate filling on the inside. But the pastry part itself, it's very dry. It definitely tastes old. It actually tastes older than the bread. This is not a double wrapped Pop-Tart like the ones that I've gotten from the Sapaco low sodium MREs or some of the other rations that I've had. Even the HDR, the Pop-Tart in there, was double wrapped. So I actually finished that one off. That one tasted a little bit fresher than this. This is extremely dry. It's definitely stale. It's extremely crumbly. So it definitely needs a little help. Oh, I haven't got that far yet. I'm just going to go back for another bite of this. But that does actually give me a bit of an idea. We'll see if this helps the flavor in any. No problem. Yeah, the peanut butter doesn't help the dryness any, but it does help the flavor. And this pudding also helps the flavor. It covers up the staleness of the pastry and the Pop-Tart. I can still get some of the chocolate flavor. The chocolate is not, now, unless I get to, say, right here where the chips are, you really don't get a whole lot of that chocolate flavor from that filling. But adding both the peanut butter and the pudding does enhance it does cover up the flavor of that Pop-Tart itself. And I think I can even taste the chocolate more because it's getting rid of that stale taste. But because this is so delicate, I probably won't be doing that again. I might, I don't know. I'll probably do that one more time. And we'll go from there, I guess. Of course, next week, or should I say next year, yeah, this is the last live stream of 2020, because next Sunday We'll be in January. We'll be in 2021 already. And I will be getting into the Titan ration from Minotaur Trading Company. And it's one of the mains, and that one is the same as the last of the Minotaur Arctic field rations with the Arizona chili. The other main in there is one that I have not had yet, and that's what they call the Fiesta Bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and go for that one. Now, I may do the Arizona chili with a bit of a twist when I go back to that one again. Of course, I will pull everything out of that bag to show what's in it. But I'll be going for the Fiesta Bowl to have for dinner that night. The mains in this Titan are totally Minotaur creations. The Titan one that I did last year was mains from Mountain House. So the mains are the same ones that you would get in an MCW. But these are totally different Minotaur creations. But the Arizona chili is good. I just thought it had meat in it, but it did not. But I might have a little fun with that one when I go back for another time with that Arizona chili. But who knows what I'll do with it. Yeah, when I was hanging out with my sisters and my mom and my nephews, my niece and my great niece yesterday, one of my sisters gave everybody bags of her homemade beef jerky. So I have a bag of that. I have not tasted it yet. I want to hold on to it for a little while. But I'm kind of getting the idea of taking a few pieces of that jerky, putting it into the bag with the Arizona chili. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. So that might be my twist on the Arizona chili for that Titan ration. And it'll be my first time trying to literally rehydrate jerky. So that could be a fun experiment. And I may throw a little bit of spice in that chili as well when I do it. And I think there is rice in that bag, so I'm not sure if I will use the rice at that time or if I'll do something else. We'll see how that goes. I also have another pouch of the chicken chunks, but it's in the silver one with the gusseted bottom. But I have another idea for that one. I'm not sure when I'll do that yet, but I will probably do that. Maybe, I'm not sure if I'll do that this week or next week. But it should be interesting what I'm going to do with it. You'll just have to stay tuned for that. Then the second Sunday in January, I will get into that DAF MRE that I also bought from foreignmre.com. The salmon paella. Ever since I heard about that, I've really been wanting to try that one. So since I have it, I'll get a chance to try it. And I got an idea of what I'm going to do for some of the other, couple of the other components in that ration. Plus, I like the fact that I get a green spork. I think those DAF sporks are kind of cool. It looks like it might be a little smaller than this one, but when I open it, I'll compare it. Yep. Yep, I try to keep my, since I got this new unit in my wall, well, new to me, this past summer, it's been a lot easier for me to control the temp, and I still have not turned my heater on in my bedroom because this thing that I got in my wall where the air conditioner is, it's got a heater in it, and in fact it just kicked on. So I've only got it set to 64 degrees. It's actually, this thing's actually showing 67, but it's still kicking on. But it probably has its sensor right in the unit itself, so it's probably slightly different as far as where it's picking up the temperature inside the unit as opposed to a couple of feet below. Of course, I have this thing sitting on top of my computer tower, so it may be picking up some of the heat from that. I have the baseboard heater, but I never really liked it. But it worked better than the one in the living room, which is right underneath my slider, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but because I have this thing that also heats, I don't have to use that thing at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to more units like this in the apartments that are being remodeled. I could be wrong. But I hope they do, because they're easy to set. You can program it to what you want. Just like if you had a thermostat for a heat pump or a central air system. I'm pretty sure it uses more power than the baseboard heaters do, because it's reflected in my electric bill. I'm just squeezing a little bit more peanut butter onto the bread. But the only way I knew what the temperature was before I got this unit is by looking at my little digital thermometers. I have, like the one that I showed you, I have another one in my bedroom. They both show the humidity. And then I have two more that have hanging probes, but for some reason they only want to do Celsius. But I got one of those in the kitchen, got that on my fridge, and then I got the other one in the bathroom. I see Chris is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. What you're looking at is a 2012 Menu 12 plus chicken chunks. I put the chicken chunks down first, and then I put the vegetarian penne pasta on top of that, and then I mixed it. And it actually, the saltiness of the chicken actually enhances the flavor of the pasta. It covers up that extra vinegar taste, which would be like they already put some of this in there, but this has no garlic in there, and I would have wanted a little bit more garlic. Maybe a little bit more onion. So that's why I decided not to bother with this. So the chicken actually makes this taste better. The penne pasta is very mushy, but it's still perfectly edible. There is a Dickie in the house. Thanks for dropping in. That's a name I haven't seen in here before. So glad you're able to find a place to park yourself for a little while and chill. Well, I have my dinner. 8-year-old MRE. This is a vanilla pudding, but it has the consistency and texture of marshmallow, or the inside of a marshmallow, instead of a consistency that's more like the peanut butter. It was a powder that I mixed up with water. But that's okay. The flavor is very good in that pudding. And this is a chocolate chip Pop-Tart. That's just a little bit of a frosting on there, not very much. And this is extremely dry and extremely stale. But I put a bit of the peanut butter and a bit of the pudding on there, and that actually covered up that stale taste. It really didn't help the dryness all that much, but it sure covered up that stale taste. And this is, this bread actually tastes, it doesn't taste as stale as the Pop-Tart does. Well, Chris, foreign MRE sells U.S. MREs. There are other places that also sell them. You can get by the case. You can get First Strike rations. You can get vintage MREs in both the tan and brown bags. If you get one of their ammo can gift packages, if they still have any, there is one where you get a full set of the MOREs, the Modular Operational Ration Enhancements. You get that in the ammo can. So that's another way you can go. And then for those that are not familiar with those MOREs, basically, if a soldier is doing some serious activity, 3 of these in a day would not be enough. What they would do is they would have this, and then they would have the MORE pack to get additional calories and energy to sustain them through that day's activity. And they could possibly also be combined with the First Strike ration, because the only thing you might have to prepare in those MOREs would be a drink, if there is any in there. No, I was never in the military because I would have never qualified. In fact, I cannot have a driver's license. I have never been allowed to drive and never will. And personally, that's the way I like it. But I have relatives who have served on both sides of my mom and dad's side of the family. My step-grandfather on my mom's side was both in the Air Force and the Army. I think he did Army first in World War II, and then in the Air Force during Vietnam War. And then I had another cousin years ago who was in the Army. And then I have there was a cousin on my mom's side, and then a cousin on my dad's side. She was in the Air Force for a time, and she was a jet mechanic. She was based at the Eglin Air Base, And when she took the test to get that particular position, she tested higher than most of the guys who tested at the same time she did. So she showed those guys up, and apparently she kept doing that on the job when she was working on the planes at the Eglin Air Base. But I don't know what she's doing now. I'm not sure if she's still doing some kind of mechanic work in a civilian fashion since she got out of the Air Force. I really don't know, but she was in there, and she apparently kicked some serious butt when it came to working on the jets. There is M. Burrito in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Yep, Sunday's a good relaxed day. You can get yourself mentally ready for Monday. The reason why I have never been allowed to drive and never will is because my eyeballs. I wear very thick glasses. In fact, I have a new pair that I got at the beginning of the month. And that has definitely been good because my other ones are loose. The lenses want to pop out. So I actually super glued those lenses. I keep those glasses because I like to have spares. You know, it's a good thing to have spare glasses either in case you get a new pair and it gets damaged or lost or they break. So the pair I was wearing previously are in my get home bag. So this is what I did earlier for those that missed it. I took some peanut butter, put it on the Pop-Tart, and then I put some of the pudding on there. That covers up the stale taste of the Pop-Tart. It really doesn't take care of all the dryness, but it definitely makes it taste a little better. There's DeCarlos in the house. And CR is bugging out of here, so have a good night, and see you next year. CR is up in Canada, by the way, for those that don't know. And on his channel, he does a lot of stuff regarding, repurposing items, recycling items. taking street finds and putting them to good use. Yeah. I would definitely agree to that. Earlier in the year, like about March, when this whole big nasty took everybody for a loop, and it just seemed like that the year would be slow. But then as the situation changed, things changed in particular areas at different rates. And then things started to speed up a little bit. I was wondering if my family would be able to do our annual camping trip at my late dad's favorite lake, but we done that. And fishing was lousy, but we still had a good time. And in fact, before we even left, one of my sisters got enough Wi-Fi or got enough data signal to make the reservation for next summer. So we are already booked for next summer for, in fact, the same 2 cabins that we use. And we picked those for a particular reason. Well, several reasons. One of the cabins that we use does not have steps, so it's easier for my mom to go in and out of it. And we have that one. We use the kitchen in there as our working kitchen. And then the other cabin is just additional storage. But these cabins have a microwave. They have a coffee maker and a sink and a place where you can put your grill. And this past summer we tested out a propane flat top grill, and that worked out really good. So we had that along with the other Coleman stove. And we had both of those running simultaneously off of the same propane tank. And that worked out really well. I'm just going back through the chat. Yeah, a lot of people are going through some crazy stuff. And if certain people outside of Des Moines, I'll just say that, if certain people who are not here in Iowa do not get their crap together and do what's necessary, my second oldest sister and who knows how many thousands of others are going to have to go to their job, but they won't get their paycheck. Their next paycheck that would be due would be held up. Yeah. it's called a government shutdown. And so tomorrow something has to be done. And if it's not done, then Tuesday morning, my sister basically works for free until things get resolved and she can get her back pay. Now that's what they do to Carlo. That's what they get their jollies out of, trying to either pay out as little as possible or not pay out at all, even when the policyholder is on the up and up and does everything by the book. We had that issue here, after the derecho storm in August. Insurance companies didn't want to pay for some of the damage that was caused. But that's something that I didn't have to bother with because I don't own a vehicle. So I have no auto insurance to deal with. I don't have renter's insurance on this apartment. Only insurance I have is my health insurance. Going for another sip of my coffee, which is now cold, but I don't care. By the way, for those that have not seen this before, this is a Swedish military issue cup. It's kind of a Cook's shape, and it's got a hole where you can run a cord through it to hang it off your pack or a hook. At the beginning of the stream, before I put the coffee in it, I turned it over to show the 3 crowns on the underside of the handle. On the underside, there'd be about here is where the 3 crowns are. And that's how you know that it is a legit Swedish military item. I hope you do get your auto situation taken care of, because for those that drive, if you lose your ride and you don't have an alternative, you're at the mercy of drivers like cabbies, Uber, Lyft drivers, or people you would have to call on to give you rides. So, since I live here in the city, I have access to city buses, and that's how I get around if I'm not riding with any of my relatives who drive, or on the very rare occasion when I call an Uber or Lyft, and even more rare, a cab. Holy crap. Must have a lot of miles on that car if you're going to have to pay that much. So I'm sure a big chunk of that is the mileage you add up. That's almost as much as I owe for dental expenses that my health insurance won't cover. Because they only want to cover certain parts of the dental work that I've had done, and I still need to get done, but at least I have dental coverage that I can actually use, whereas last time I tried to get dental coverage, then they didn't want to do anything. They didn't even want to approve an initial exam or dental x-rays or a cleaning, and they didn't want to recognize the providers that are on their own list. So I basically told them, what they can do with their coverage or lack of. You better hope you get that security deposit back. Because you wouldn't want to lose out on something that is basically your right. Thanks for dropping in. Glad you make it. So I will see you next year. I love saying that to people that I will not see after a date that's close to the end of December, like bus drivers. Of course, some of them takes a while to catch on. When I tell them I won't see them until next year. But some catch on right away. But I'll probably be shutting this thing down pretty soon anyway. Of course, I will finish all of this off, as I do. It would have to be really, really bad for me not to finish it. Because after all, this is my dinner. Yeah, they better, because, that person's fault for giving you that hard smack. But yeah, I do want to thank you all for coming in. Yeah. See, you couldn't have been at a fault because you weren't even there. You weren't in the car. And as long as there are security cameras that were able to cover that location, you got the proof. So if it ever has to go to court, you can get that security camera footage admitted as evidence. So they would have a hard time contesting that. But I do hope you get everything resolved and that you can get yourself either a new ride or get it repaired. Yep, that's good. So you already have the video evidence, so. You got your tail covered on that one. So again, best wishes on getting this resolved, and you can get back behind the wheel of something that's your own and not someone else's. So it'll make your life a whole lot easier. And that goes for everyone else. Keep doing what's necessary to keep yourself safe. While the big nasty is still going around. You know, because I do. And I hope to see you all back here next Sunday. Again, I will be getting into Minotaur Trading Company Titan ration with mains of their creation. So I hope you can come back for that. And also check out Ration Museum every Sunday, unless Sean announces that there will not be a stream for a particular Sunday. Like last Sunday, there wasn't one. But check out the Ration Museum channel. You can watch their previous streams, see what he looked at, and updates on the nonprofit status and things like that. So nonprofit status is good to go. He got some issues resolved on that. So he can move forward on fundraising in order to continue to pay for the space that he is renting, and that they can acquire additional items, and they can pay for what's needed to start archiving all of the documents that he has, you know, creating a detailed catalog of all of the items, especially those that have been donated by several people. Like I sent the two 1987 German emergency rations that I bought. I opened one of them. I made up one of the teas. I opened up the bars, but did not sample any of those. I just opened up the outer wrapper, and I put everything back in. Plus I had the sealed one that was not open. I sent both of those, along with some Japanese military script. I had 2 of those notes from just after World War II, and I will replace those at a future date. But anyway, go check out Ration Museum and see all the good stuff that's going on there. And again, come back next Sunday for Minotaur Trading Company Titan Ration and see what I do with it. So again, thanks all for watching and catch you on the flip side.